In 1994, they were sentenced to life in prison. They are still in federal custody, but say they were wrongfully convicted because a cousin later confessed to the crime. Last year, Justice Minister David Lametti ordered a review saying there may have been a possible miscarriage of justice. The sisters want to be free on bail during the review. Kim Beaudin is Vice Chief of the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples. He was at the hearing. Thank you so much, Vice Chief, for joining us. It's been a long journey for the Quewezance sisters. Was this past week promising? And what was the bail hearing like?
It was promising. Unfortunately, it's taken a long time, right? We've been addressing this issue close to over 2 years now. In terms of the, there was a lot of supporters that were at the courthouse, and that was really good to see. And I remember the comment made by the judge. He had indicated that he's never been involved in this kind of a process before, a judicial, like a review in terms of the bail hearing 30 years after the fact. So it was quite new to him. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate about the judge going on vacation. When will we find out more?
Well, I believe between probably 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not holding my collective breath on that one. I can, the wheels of justice always works very slow, and he indicated that it was a very, somewhat of a complicated decision, that he's going to look at the criminal code and how to address that code and see whether, it fits the merits of releasing them. And so, yeah, there's different grounds for release, right? So that's kind of what he's going to do. He said in court that he's not going to look at any media coverage or what the media said and advocates and that kind of thing. That's kind of what he said. He goes, I'm not going to weigh my decision based on that. So it was quite interesting. I don't know if you know this, if you're aware of this, but this is very rare. I mean, it doesn't happen where 30 years later that there's a bail hearing that would be, called for. That does not happen I can't even remember. So, yeah.
It is rare,
yeah,
yes.
It's very rare.
It sounds like one of the big issues brought up was the aftercare of the sisters once they're freed. Now, you spoke up and you offered to help. Can you explain?
Yes, yes, I knew that was going to be an issue. I was very concerned because the courts tend to use that as an excuse for not releasing somebody. They'll say, well, they don't have nowhere to go. There's nowhere for them to, in a safe place. And so that's why they keep them. So that's why I offered my place, and I thought it was important. I used to run a mental health approved home. I had numerous clients. They were very high level clients in terms of the level of care. So this is not, new and scary to me at all. I mean, and I really was concerned she would have nowhere to go. And I also knew too and I have a lot of connections as well. So I thought it would be important that I could connect with those connections in the community to address the other issues. Yes, to address other issues that would come into play. So yeah, that's why I did that. So we'll see what happens.
Now, Vice Chief, help for people who return home after being in prison has been an issue. What changes do you think need to happen to help the Quewezance sisters if or when they are released?
Well, it's a huge issue, and when you've been institutionalized for over 40 years, close to 40 years, and you throw in the issue of residential schools, and then combine that now with respect to the various the prison system, yeah, it's been almost 40 years, and that's a long time, and so we can't just assume. And then this is what bothers me too. Sometimes the courts or the corrections, for example, just assume that you're just going to be normal, everything's going to be like nothing, and when you get out, and they're assuming dead wrong. So we need to provide assistance, we need to provide resources, especially resources, and we want to ensure that they're supported when they do get out. And I really believe that both of them are going to, they will be all right. Like in the end of the day, they're going to be they will be good. My discussions with both of them, I got a really good sense what they want to do when they're out, the kind of contributions actually that they want to make in terms of their journey and what happened to them in corrections, and and these are all positive things that they want to do. So I thought this is great, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, organizations who want to hear from the two sisters. There's no question about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no problem. No problem.